Well, hello everyone, I'm Zwigo and today I'm bringing you something weird and unusual, something that I hadn't done before and something that I haven't seen too many people do before as well, and that is doing a Pokemon challenge in a ROM hack. But not just any ROM hack. In this ROM hack, you don't play as the good guy trying to take down the evil team. Hell no, you play as one of Giovanni's minions in Team Rocket, and this is the perfect opportunity to try and beat Pokemon Rocket Science, basically a slightly altered version of Pokemon Fire Red as a Team Rocket member. So what exactly does this mean? Well, as you guys might know, Team Rocket grunts aren't the best Pokemon trainers, using a lot of weak Pokemon and also besides that, killing and selling them on the black market. Team Rocket members aren't the smartest persons out there either. I mean, some of them are, but most grunts just run around with overly sized rats. So yeah, that's exactly what we're gonna do. Our team is going to consist of 5 Pokemon, these being Rattata. I mean, of course you have to have a Rattata if you want to join Team Rocket. Zubat, because you always have to have that annoying Pokemon that most of the people hate. And the next 2 members will be Coughing and Eggins. Not only because Jesse and James use them, but also because they are very frequently used by normal grunts. The last and final Pokemon will be Cubone. Why Cubone, you might ask? Well, because in the Pokemon Generations movie you see Team Rocket killing a Marowak and the Cubone gets left behind. So this will be a tribute to that moment. Why didn't I go for Pokemon like Meowth or Drowsy, you might ask? I considered both of them, but since not a lot of grunts use Meowth, I decided not to use it. And I mean, to me Drowsy just doesn't seem like a Team Rocket kind of Pokemon, so yeah, that's why I went with this team. I would love to do this challenge again with other evil teams, so let me know if you like this idea by commenting down below and leaving a like. With this long ass intro out of the way, let's get right into the gameplay. The rules will be in the description. We do not start off like normal, we actually get greeted by Giovanni himself and not by Professor Oak. He asks us for our name, and we name ourselves Zwigo like always. Just to clarify here, the rival is not in this game. There is no rival until the end. You won't be able to fight Red until the end, so I'm sorry if I don't include any rival fights, that's because there are none. So he tells us that this kid has been ripping up his organization and we have to stop him. Of course we name him Red, because that's his real name. We don't start off in the normal Professor Oak lab. We actually start off in the gym of Giovanni himself. Giovanni leaves and the scientist tells us that we were fired from Sylph Co and that we joined Team Rocket. The field leader gives us our first task, which is go and get the fossils from Mount Moon. We start off our journey with a Zubat and a Magnemite. I will be ditching the Magnemite because that is a typical scientist Pokemon, not a Team Rocket member Pokemon. I cleared through Viridian Forest very easily, so we head straight to Brock's gym. But before we can fight Brock, we actually have to fight the camper in front of him. And this guy took me about an hour to take down, because our Zubat didn't learn anything that's actually useful against him. So I grinded up to level 16 and caught myself a Rattata because that's the second member of our team. I named him after the guy that suggested this challenge for me, El Nerd. He suggested this to me on Discord, so if you want to connect with me or with other people, you can join the Discord. The link will be in the description. In the grass before Pewter City, there's this girl that looks like the character Green, but her name is Sharna. She won't be anywhere throughout this story anymore, but I just found it very interesting, and this fight was actually pretty hard for me because her Bulbasaur always kept on leech seeding me, which causes me to lose the battle. But once I hit level 16, we were strong enough to finally beat her. After beating her and the gym trainer, I finally decided it's time for Brock himself. But it still wasn't a cakewalk because his Onix was just too strong. He just kept on using Rock Tomb, which lowered my speed, which caused me to not go first anymore. So I had to flinch the Onix with Bite. After a few more tries, his Geodude went down pretty easily with a few bites. After beating the Geodude, his Onix comes out. I start off by confusing it with Supersonic. He hurts himself in his confusion and I hit him with a critical bite. The next 2 turns he hits himself in his confusion as well, so he won't be able to attack us anymore, and 2 more bites finish off the Onix and we get ourselves the Boulder Badge. We leave town and get ourselves the running shoes from another fellow Team Rocket member, and we head straight to Mount Moon to wreck the scientist there. He has stolen, I mean not really stolen, he has found the fossils and took him for himself, so we have to beat him in order to get ourselves the Helix fossil. Good choice. We leave Mount Moon and we get a call from Davideo, which is our leader. He tells us that we have to retrieve the TM for Dig from a Team Rocket member, but before we can do that, we have to beat Misty first. And since there are no rival battles here, I won't be able to fight my rival at the Nugget Bridge, and Bill has already been cleared by Red itself, so I won't be able to save Bill either. But before we go ahead and challenge Misty, we have to catch our third member for the team, Ekans. We name it Schneck because why not? And we continue on our journey. After the capture, we go ahead and challenge Misty straight away. But her Starmie is just a little bit too strong. Even though that our Pokemon are pretty high level right now, we still aren't able to survive a water pulse. So this took us multiple attempts to take her down, and it doesn't help that our Schneck isn't leveled at all. So after a lot of tries, we get a good run. Her first Pokemon, Staryu, goes into red health with just one Hyper Fang. She sets up with a Harden and then heals up, and I know that she's going to heal up, so I use another Hyper Fang. I then use a quick attack, but she lives on one slither of health. She uses a recover and one more Hyper Fang takes it out. Starmie comes out and we get lucky to survive a water pulse here, and that one Hyper Fang crits, taking her down into orange health. Next turn we get taken out and we send out Zubat. We get hit with a water pulse, but we manage to hang on, and one wing attack finishes off the Starmie. We talk to the grunt where we're supposed to retrieve the TM from, but he tells us that Red has stolen it already. We then get another call from Davideo telling us that we have to board the SSN to retrieve the TM for Cut. But there's just one problem. The SSN has already sailed away, so we have to go to a house where one of the Team Rocket members is going to give us a boat ride to the SSN. And since we are Team Rocket, we have to dim the lights. We managed to break the electricity on the boat so that we can go ahead and go to the captain's quarters to retrieve the HM. But the captain isn't just a pushover. He has 3 fully evolved water Pokemon, and that is just way too much for our team at the moment. So we actually lose a lot of times because of the Kingler. But after some trying, we managed to get a good one. The first Pokemon is a Tentacruel. He misses his Supersonic, so we hit it with a Hyper Fang, which almost takes it down into orange health. We then go for a quick attack and we get confused. We hit ourselves in that confusion and we get hit by an acid. We almost go down to another acid and we live on 2 HP, and then one more Hyper Fang takes down the Tentacle. Next up is Kingler, so I go into Snick. We hit it with a bite, but 2 Vice Grips actually take Snick down. We then go into Zubat and we start biting, but it doesn't do enough damage, so I opt for Wing Attack instead. Eventually we take it down, but we only have a few HP left. His last Pokemon is Cloyster, so I start off by confusing it with a Confuse Ray. Cloyster has a lot of defense, so I go for a Bite, which is special in this game. It hits itself in its confusion, and then we go for another Bite. Next turn he snaps out of his confusion, and he kills our Zubat with a Cut. So now El Nerd has to finish this. We go for a Hyper Fang, and we get lucky that he misses his Cut, so one more Hyper Fang takes it down, and we get ourselves the HM for Cut. We leave the SSN, and we head straight to the 3rd gym. Sadly enough, our first attempt ends in vain because our Zubat got paralyzed and his Raichu manages to set up a lot of double teams. Time for our second attempt, and this one went way better. His first Pokemon, Voltorb, goes down with 1 Hyper Fang. Next up is Pikachu, who shares the same fate as the Voltorb. Next up is Raichu, so I switch into Snack to paralyze it with Glare, but it manages to get off 1 double team. He uses a full heal to get rid of the paralysis, and I go for a Wrap. We get paralyzed by Static, but our Glare manages to hit again and paralyze the Raichu once again. We hit another Bite, but 2 more Shockwaves take out our Schneck. We switch in El Nerd, and our first Hyper Fang misses, so we get hit by a big Shockwave. Our second one manages to connect, and Raichu goes down. So we get ourselves the Thunder Badge. We skip a whole bunch because nothing really happens anymore because we have to go to the Team Rocket hideout to help Giovanni. But as we arrive there, Red has already cleared it, which is very sad. We run through the Team Rocket hideout and we get ourselves the coin case from a guard, and we go down with the elevator. At the 4th floor, we find not Giovanni, but one of the admins. She tells us that Giovanni has been taken down and they need to do some business in the Pokemon Tower. We have to go ahead and get ourselves some Cubone skulls. So before we do that, we actually take on the 4th gym. I figured that this shouldn't be that hard because Erika really isn't that great, and we have a Zubat which resists all of her attacks. We start off with our Zubat and we aerial ace her Victory Bell to take her down into red health. She hits us with an acid and then heals up. 2 more aerial aces and Victory Bell goes down. Next up is Tangela, who really doesn't have anything to go for it, so 2 aerial aces take that down. Last up is Vileplume, and 2 aerial aces manage to take her down because she misses a Stun Spore. We get ourselves the Rainbow Badge and we go to the Pokemon Tower straight away. We find ourselves a Cubone, and in place of killing it, we actually capture it and name it Orphan. At the top of the tower, we find ourselves 3 Team Rocket Grunts who are going to give us 30 Cubone Skulls in total. You can trade these in at the game corner for rare candies, which means that we just got 30 free rare candies, which is amazing for us. No more wasting time, we head straight to Koga because there's nothing that really happens between this point anymore, so let's do this. This is actually my first attempt, so let's see how it goes. His first Pokemon Coughing goes down in just 2 aerial aces because one of them was a crit. We only get hit with 1 sludge in the process. Next up is Muck, so we switch into Orphan. And as you know, this Muck is really annoying for most playthroughs because he just uses Minimize and poisons your Pokemon pretty much. Our first Boomerang is a crit which brings it down into red health, but he heals back up. But after we hit it with a few more Boomerangs, even though that we missed a few, Muck eventually goes down. His second Coughing comes out and we hit it with a Headbutt. It barely does any damage, and the sludge combined with the toxic damage takes our Cubone out. We switch into Rattata and we managed to bring down the Coughing into red health, but in that process we actually got poisoned. He then heals up and 1 more sludge manages to take out our Rattata. We go into Sneck and we get incredible flinch luck right here. 2 flinches with Bite and the 3rd one takes it out. Last up is his Wheezing, so he hits us with a Sludge which actually does decent damage. We use Glare to paralyze it, but next turn Koga goes for a full heal. We then go for a Screech to set up for Zubat to take it out with Aerial Ace later on. We then get hit with a Smoke Screen, but we Glare again to paralyze it. We get off 1 more Screech before we have to go into Zubat. 1 Aerial Ace takes it down into orange health and 1 more wins us the battle. 5th Gym Badge acquired, let's head on with our journey. Grab ourselves the HM for strength because you know we have to get buffed up so that we can move some boulders. After getting the HM, we head straight to the 6th gym, which is led by Sabrina, who specializes in psychic types, which our team is very weak to. But this battle wasn't too bad, even though that we lost a few times, like I would say maybe a dozen times, all because of our Alakazam, but eventually we managed to do it. Her first Pokemon Kadabra is no problem, 1 Hyper Fang and he goes down. Second is Mr. Mime, who likes to set up some screens, but 1 Hyper Fang manages to flinch, so the second one takes it out. Venomoth comes out, so we switch into Zubat to hit it with 2 aerial aces to take it down. Last up is our Alakazam, so we try to go for a Confuse Ray, but 1 Psychic takes out the Zubat. We switch into Sneck and we paralyze it with a Glare while it sets up a Future Sight, but because of its ability Synchronize, we also get paralyzed. It heals its paralysis with a full heal, and Ekans gets taken out with a Psychic next turn. We switch in Orphan, but he gets taken out with a combination of Future Sight and Psychic, so Rattata has to finish this. Alakazam stupidly sets up a Future Sight and we go for a Hyper Fang. He then stupidly goes for another one and 1 more Hyper Fang, and we get ourselves the 6th Gym Badge. Thank you, dumb AI. We go back to Fuchsia City to get ourselves the HM for Surf because it's in a different location than in normal Fire Red. We use Strength on the boulder in the Warden's house, and he doesn't want us to steal his Surf HM, so he comes after us and challenges us to a Pokemon battle. He starts off with a Chansey and we go for a Boomerang, but he sets up some Minimizes, which is very annoying. We miss a few Boomerangs and we get hit with an Egg Bomb, but after a few turns we manage to take out the Chansey. Next up is Scyther, so we switch into Zubat. 2 aerial aces and it goes down. Zubat is pretty damaged because of the wing attacks though. Next up is Tauros, and he just takes us out with 2 Pursuits after we manage to hit it with an aerial ace. We switch into Sneck and we get hit with a Swagger, which doubles our attack. We go for a Screech to lower its defense by 2 stages, so this should do a lot of damage. We go for an Acid and it almost takes it out, so it actually heals it with Rest. 2 more Acids and Tauros goes down. Kangaskhan is up next. I try to go for a Glare, but 1 Mega Punch takes out our Sneck. We go into Orphan to manage to hit it with 1 Boomerang, but 2 Mega Punches takes us down. We go into our last Hope Rattata and we start Hyper Fanging, but he hits us with 1 Mega Punch, which leaves us with 2 HP left. We go for an Endeavor after he heals up, and then He misses his last Mega Punch, so we finish off the Kangaskhan. After acquiring the HM for Surf, we go to Cinnabar Island to catch our final team member Coughing. We name it Bob because why not? Bob is cool. After capturing Coughing, we head straight to Blaine's gym, but our team is just too underleveled for this. His Rapidash and Arcanine are just way too strong and he just never misses a Fire Blast, which is very weird to me. It's not that accurate and he always hits it. So I decide to grind up most of my team to level 45 and 47 respectively. After a few more attempts, I managed to get the Run of Dreams. His first Pokemon Growlithe goes down with 2 acids after we get hit with a Fire Blast. Next up is Ponyta, so we go for another acid and we get the defense lowering. 1 Fire Blast and our snack is down. We switch into El Nerd and we take him out with 1 Hyper Fang. Rapidash is next, and we get so unlucky that our Orphan gets burned here, but we do manage to get off a Boomerang which does a lot of damage. Orphan goes down and Zubatman is here to finish off the Rapidash with an Aerial Ace. Last up is Arcanine, so we confuse it and hit it with an Aerial Ace. He heals his confusion with a full heal and we confuse it again, but he takes us out. We switch into Rattata and we hit it with a Hyper Fang. He lives with a slither of health and he heals back up. 1 more Hyper Fang and a few Super Fangs and Arcanine is only left with 1 HP, so Coughing has to do this while Rattata goes down. Luckily Arcanine misses his Fire Blast, so we take it down with a Sludge and we get ourselves the 7th Gym Badge. And normally right now we have to go to the Sevi Islands, which we're going to do, but we're going to get ourselves the Tri-Pass from a Team Rocket member. But we aren't going to the Sevi Islands with the same reasons as Red. We have to go to the Team Rocket hideout, which is located on the 5th island, because they have a special mission for us. We arrive there and we get ourselves our orders, which are, we have to capture the 3 legendary birds, Zapdos, Articuno, and Moltres to have their power and so that we can take over the world. Our first victim is located at the top of Mount Ember, Moltres. We go ahead and capture it without too many problems. We bring it back and they take a feather from Moltres to put in their machine. They then tell us that Zapdos is located in the Pearl Plant next to Rock Tunnel. We go there and we have to do a few attempts to capture Zapdos, but after trying enough times we manage to capture it. We bring it back to the hideout, give a feather, and we get the Articuno location. He's located on the Seafoam Islands, and this bird was the hardest to catch, I'm not going to lie. I had to try this at least 5 or 6 times, but we managed to capture it. We deliver our final bird and we get ourselves a stone. It's a stone so that we can evolve Pokemon that normally evolve through trade, but you know, we aren't going to be needing that because we have no trade Pokemon. After completing our mission, we have to go back to Giovanni to report all of this. So we head to his gym. He tells us that he was beaten by Red and that he wants to give up Team Rocket. He wants to leave the crime life and he just wants to become a loyal gym leader. But we have to convince him that he has to continue on working with Team Rocket. So we challenge him to one last gym battle. Sadly enough, our team just isn't up to the task. We get shredded by all of his Pokemon, a lot of times actually, but eventually, after enough tries, we manage to get the run that we need. His first Pokemon, Rhyhorn, goes down with 2 Boomerangs after it hits us with an Earthquake. Next up is Dugtrio, who manages to hit us with 2 slashes after we defeat it with 2 Aerial Aces. Another Rhyhorn comes out, so we switch back into Orphan to take it down with 2 Boomerangs, and again we get hit by another Earthquake, which almost takes us out. He then sends out his Nidoqueen, so we go into Snack. He heals it up with a full heal and our next glare misses. So we go for another one and then we get hit with a big Earthquake, leaving us with 3 health. We then try to go for a Screech, but we miss, so a Poison Sting takes us out. We go into Orphan and we get so lucky that we get a crit here, so Boomerang takes out the Nidoqueen. Nidoking is last, so we switch into Zubat to confuse it with a Confuse Ray. We then start hitting it with an Aerial Ace, but 2 Trashes take us down. We managed to get it into orange health, so 1 more attack should do it. Nidoking got confused because of the trash, so it hits itself in its confusion, and 1 more Boomerang and we have ourselves the last Gym Badge. Even after the fight, Giovanni does not want to team up with Team Rocket again, so he tells us that we should go ahead and challenge the Pokemon League. We shall fulfill our leader's last desire, so we waste no more time and head straight there. I decide to go in with the team as it is, but that wasn't a good idea because we get shut down by her first Pokemon, Dugong. We can't even get get past the first Pokemon, just realized that. So we have to grind up a lot. So I decided to grind up to level 60, but even then we still can't get past the second Pokemon, Slowbro. After trying about a dozen more times, I decided to grind up to level 65, but even then, it isn't possible. We do manage to get to our last Pokemon, Lapras, but that thing is just too strong. One more grinding session and then I think we should be able to take on Lorelei. We grind up to level 70, but still we lose a lot of times, but I know that it's possible at this level, so I keep on going. And what do you know? After a lot of tries, we do manage to get a good run. Her first Pokemon is of course Dugong, so we start off with Bob. We hit it with a Sludge, which does decent damage, and one more Thunder takes it out. Next up is Slowbro, so we hit it with a Thunder, which does amazing damage, but he hits us with a Yawn. The turn after that, she heals up, so we get one more Thunder, and we take it down to orange health, and then Bob goes down. We send out Zubat to finish it off with an Aerial Ace. Jinx is up next, so we stay in and we confuse it with a Confuse Ray. It hits itself in its confusion, so we can hit it with an Aerial Ace. Next turn, it snaps out and hits us with an Ice Punch, taking out Zubat. We then send out Rattata to finish it off with a Hyper Fang. Cloyster is not a problem, our Sneck manages to take it out with 2 Giga Drains, and last up is Lapras. We paralyze the Lapras, we then miss our Screech, the next Screech hits, but we get hit with an Ice Beam and we are frozen solid, so next turn our Ice Beam takes us out. We go into Rattata and we hit it with a Super Fang to take it down to half health, but she heals up with a Citrus Berry, and then we hit it with a Hyper Fang, but she lives with 1 HP and heals up with a full restore. So 2 more Hyper Fangs hit and we take out the Lapras and we finally beat Lorelei. The second member is Bruno, but we didn't have any problems with him. This is our first attempt, so let's see how we did. His first 2 Pokemon are Onyxes, so we send out our Sneck to deal with them with Giga Drain. After the 2 Onyxes, he sends out a Hitmonchan, so we switch into Zubat. One Aerial Ace takes it down to red health as he misses his Rock Tomb. He heals up and 2 more Aerial Aces take Hitmonchan down. Next up is his Machamp, so we hit it with an Aerial Ace, taking him down to half health. He heals up with his Citrus Berry and then hits us with a Rock Tomb, which does a lot of damage. One more Aerial Ace and he lives with a slither of health, so he hits us with another Rock Tomb and then heals up. We get off one more Aerial Ace to do a lot of damage. And he then dumbly decides to go for a Cross Chop and misses, so one more Aerial Ace and Machamp goes down. Last is his Hitmonlee, so we switch into Orphan and we get hit with 2 big Mega Kicks before we can take him out with 2 Earthquakes. We defeat Bruno on our first try, so we head straight to Agatha. But our first attempt sadly ends in vain. Her Gengar takes us out way too easily. After a few more attempts, we manage to do it. Her first Gengar loves to set up double teams, which makes our bites miss. So after a few misses, we switch into Zubat because he knows Aerial Ace, which never misses. We get hit by a Shadow Punch while we switch in and we hit him with an Aerial Ace, which does decent damage. She heals up and then goes for another double team. 2 more Aerial Aces and she goes down. Haunter is next, so we go for an Aerial Ace as he sets up a curse, taking himself out. Her second Gengar then comes out, so we switch into Sneck to hit it with 2 Screeches after we get taken out with a Shadow Ball. And these 2 Screeches were enough for Zubat to take it down with 1 Aerial Ace. Next up is Golbat, so we switch into Bob. We hit it with the Thunder, taking it down to red health. He hits us with an Air Cutter, but he then heals up. 2 more Thunders and Golbat is gone. Last up is her Arbok. We held on to Orphan to take it out with an Earthquake and a Boomerang. The 3rd Elite Four member down, time to head to the former champion lands. He starts off with a Gyarados, and 1 Thunder takes down the Gyarados. Let me know in the comments if you recognize the reference. Next up is Aerodactyl, so we stay in and 2 Thunders take that out too. Next up is Dragonite, so we switch into Rattata to hit it with 2 Super Fangs before we get taken out by a Hyper Beam. We go into Zubat thinking that I would take it out with an Aerial Ace, but he still has a Citrus Berry which heals him up, and 1 Aerial Ace doesn't take him down and he uses a full restore. We hit it with an Aerial Ace and confuse it with our Confuse Ray. We go for 1 more bite and then I decide to switch to Bob. We get hit with an Hyper Beam and then hit it with a Sludge to get taken out next turn. We send out Orphan for 1 last Double Edge to take out the Dragonite. Next out is Dragonair, so we stay in, but we get hit with a critical Outrage, leaving us with 10 HP. We hit it with an Earthquake, but next turn we go down. We switch into Sneck and we get lucky to get a critical bite, which takes out the Dragonair. 1 more Dragonair and we are onto the champion. We waste 3 turns trying to set set up a glare and we get paralyzed in the process. Finally, we managed to get one off, and I forgot that Dragonair has shed skin, so that was all for nothing. We get taken out with an Outrage, and Zubat has to finish this one off. We managed to get lucky with a critical Aerial Ace, which takes down the Dragonair, and now we can move on to Red. He has ruined our organization, so now it's time to take away all that he has fighted for, his title of champion. At least, that's what I thought. This was probably my second hardest battle that I've ever had to do, besides the Steven one in my HM only run. This was so difficult, not only because his Pokemon are so good, but because they are pretty high level as well, and my team just isn't up to the challenge. So I tried over at least 100 times, and then I just realized that I had to level. I had to level up because this was impossible. His Blastoise would take me out very easily, his Lapras was always a problem, his Snorlax was way too good. So then I realized that I actually still had some rare candies left from the Cubone skulls. So I leveled up my whole team to level 73 and my Zubat up to level 77 because I teach that thing double team, which would be crucial to win this battle. After another probably 50 tries, this took me like at least 150 tries. I'm not even exaggerating right here. After studying his Pokemon and studying what I had to do, I finally found a strategy to beat him. His first Pokemon is a Pikachu, which is not really a problem because Orphan can take it out with an Earthquake. Next up is Lapras, so we switch into our Rattata. We hit it with a Super Fang and we get hit with a Blizzard, leaving us with a little amount of HP left. This is the crucial part. We hit it with an Endeavor and then he has to miss the next move because else we're dead. So our Endeavor hits and he doesn't hit us and he heals up. We hit it with another Endeavor and then with a Hyper Fang to take it out. Next up is Blastoise, and this is the only way to take this thing down. We have to take it down with an actual Destiny Bond. He hits us first with a move, and then next turn I use Destiny Bond and he takes us out and he takes himself out as well, which is, you know, a cheesy strategy, but it works. I know that Snorlax is next, so I switch into Sneck to lower its attack with our Intimidate. I lower its defense with Screech, and then we get hit with an Earthquake, almost taking us out. Our next Screech actually misses, so we go down. I teached Brick Break to my Cubone, so 2 Brick Breaks take out the Snorlax. Next up is Venusaur, so I switch into Zubat and set up a double team, but he hits his Sleep Powder and then hits us with a huge Sludge Bomb. We get hit a few more times with Sludge Bomb, but we wake up and we set up another double team and hit it with an Aerial Ace. We get put back to sleep with another Sleep Powder, and we get hit one more time, leaving us with 9 HP. We wake up and one more Aerial Ace takes down the Venusaur. Last up is the big bad Charizard, who always takes me down. We start off by confusing it with our Confuse Ray, and then we start spamming Aerial Ace. And we get so lucky that he doesn't connect with any of his moves, because else we would have lost. But eventually he goes down and we defeat Red, and the title of champion is ours. We are the strongest Team Rocket member that has ever been alive, and I'm so proud of it. Well, that was the end of the challenge. We managed to defeat Red and make Team Rocket great again. If you guys want me to do this in a different game, let me know in the comments down below. Or if you have a different challenge that you want me to complete, leave your suggestions down below as well. With this cool and unusual challenge out of the way, I will say the last wise words like, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and maybe share this video with your friends. And with that being said, I'm Zwigo, and I'll see you guys next time.